This is LBC from Global, leading Britain's conversation with Nick Abbot.
Everything is going extremely well.
Well, let's get back to it.
Travellers making most of the Easter... It's Easter. So, of course, travellers making most of the Easter weekend were facing travel chaos with bumper-to-bumper traffic on main roads and long lines at Dover, wherever that is. Passengers on the railways, meanwhile, found their trains were cancelled for their convenience. It was Carmageddon. It's always Carmageddon during a bank holiday, just like it's always Snowmageddon when there is the slightest icing, sugar dusting of snow that doesn't even reach to the top of the shoes of the man reporting on it for the TV news. Or woman, sexist. Around 2.6 million car journeys took place today, which means that there were 2.6 million cars filled with numpties. I mean, did you think that it was going to be easy? Did you think that yours was the train that wouldn't be cancelled? Did you think it was going to be quick getting through Dover? Did you think that this Easter would be any different from any other Easter since the invention of the car?
No.
But it's worse than that, because 2 million patriotic Britons thought, right, that's it, I can't stand it anymore. I'm leaving.
Bye-bye.
And they decided that they would fly out of here, because going by ferry wasn't going to get them somewhere else fast enough. They saw Tetchy Sunout rocking back and forth in his chair, which he does whenever somebody has the temerity to question him. It's a tell. He just can't stand being questioned. He's probably wafted through his life on a perfumed cloud of cashmere loveliness, never having heard the word no.
Yes.
So Tetchy Sunout was rocking back and forth in his chair. And in answer to the question, why don't you just call an election, he actually said that he goes out into the country every day and nobody wants that. He's the Prime Minister of this country. Can you believe that?
Absolutely.
Well, you can, Liz. And I'll say it again, Tetchy, for he certainly was. He answered the question as to why his malfunctioning regime should not just ask the people what they want. He said that he knows what we want, and what we want is more of him. It's okay, you can go ahead and scream now. Just let it out. No wonder so many people joined a queue to get out of here. Some people are still on the bus replacement service of the train that they were going to get to the airport to catch the plane that they're going to miss because they arrived too late. Here's a short list of all the travel methods that will be affected this weekend. All of them. So if you decided to swerve all of that and do your bit to protect the environment and go on a little staycation, maybe to the beach or the river.
Warning.
Don't get any water on you. Because 33 years ago, the worst Prime Minister we ever had, apart from all of the other ones. I'm thinking about one person in particular.
Yeah. Wait a minute.
One MP, 33 years ago, our PM at the time, sold our water, the most essential element of life apart from air. It sold it as a monopoly to foreign entities, and they decided to take the money and give us back our own sewage, untreated and flowing directly onto a beach or a river near you. Who could have predicted that giving away our water wouldn't go very well for us poor dopes who pay bills, apart from literally every other country on earth, because this is the only one to have done that. What a way to run a country, eh?
Dreadful.
Which is, coincidentally, what the weather is going to be like this weekend. Dreadful. Britain's Easter weekend got off to a typical start. Grey skies, pouring rain, floods, because, of course it did. We just got battered by Storm Nelson, bringing 70-mile-an-hour winds, heavy rain, hail, thunder, lightning. Very, very frightening.
Rock and roll!
And snow, by the way. Snow.
Oh, no.
Tomorrow, the rain is expected to ease. Saturday forecast to be largely dry across the country, although some parts may see the odd shower. Yeah, and I bet I know which parts and all. Somewhere up the northwest, I bet. I could check on that while you wait. Aha! Well, it's not raining at the moment in Glasgow, but it will be this evening. It will also be raining tomorrow and raining on Sunday and... what? Not raining on Monday? Pfft, rubbish. It will be raining on Tuesday... No, hang on a minute. Not on Tuesday either. Oh, no. I'll take that back. Yep. Raining on Tuesday and raining on Wednesday and raining on Thursday and raining on Friday and raining next Saturday the 6th and the following Sunday and raining on Monday and raining on Tuesday and raining on Wednesday and raining on Thursday. So you've got one day off. Can you dry out in the space of 24 hours?
No.
No, I didn't think so. So you will continue to be moist. Tomorrow, the rain is expected to ease. Saturday, the forecast largely dry across the country. Would you like to hear the long-range forecast for the next 4 weeks?
No.
Next week... OK, this is the first half of April. Blimey, it's almost April already. Ain't the year just charging along? It's practically Jesus' birthday. Right, April. First half. Unsettled showers to begin, and when it's not showers, it'll be longer spells of rain. The wettest weather in the south, while northern parts remain drier on average, if you can believe that. And cooler in the north and milder in the south, which is believable. So that's the first half of April. Rubbish. Second half of April? Rain in the south, while northwestern areas will tend to be drier compared to normal.
What?
Northwestern part? Well, now, what does that mean? Drier compared to normal? Well, normal for them is absolutely sopping wet. It doesn't mean dry, it means drier than absolutely soaking in the northwest. At the end of April, more settled conditions with temperatures near or slightly above average. More settled conditions with temperatures near or slightly above average? We'll take it. Nick texts, have you seen Trump's new grift, selling licensed copies of the Bible? To quote, he wants to make America pray again. I'm amazed a copy of the Bible doesn't burst into flames when he touches it. It's totally my favourite book. I've read all of the Bible. I like the pictures and the part where Jesus grabs them, because he's famous and he can do that. Nick says, considering he apparently has many copies and it's also his favourite book, it doesn't look like he learned many life lessons from it. Oh, I don't know. If you gave me a while and I was in a mind to read it, I bet that there's a couple of life lessons in the Bible that Donald Trump could run his life with. And in the exact same way that he's running it now. You know that people are in America. I mean, and I thank goodness for America, really, because if it weren't for them, we would be the laughingstock of the world. Last week, Donald Trump learned that he's going to stand trial on April the 15th in the first of 4 criminal cases. The man has barely been out of court his entire life. And his supporters say they don't care whether or not he is convicted. It's not a political party they've joined, it's a cult. This thickly made-up, blow-dried, podgy old geezer that dances to YMCA has taken over the minds of half of the world's richest and most powerful country. And it was easy for him. He just waddled in and took over. And all because the dingalings will do anything as long as it upsets the libs. They don't care if it affects them badly, just as long as the other side are upset. That's the result of a new poll that found only 5% of his supporters would change their vote in November's election if he were to be convicted of any crime before then. 93% said that they'd still vote for him, regardless of whether he was a con man, or he defrauded the American people, or he tried to take over the country, or was a sex pest, or guilty of rape, or doesn't pay his bills, or lies about absolutely everything all the time.
Oh, shut up!
It is a cult. These fans have lost their minds. That some of them also claim to be Christian is just laugh out loud funny. If the election were tomorrow, 43% of those who expressed a preference said they would vote for Donald Trump, compared to 39% who said that they would vote for Uncle Joe. It's an age thing, isn't it? I mean, they're about the same age. It's just that Joe Biden looks like he's made out of parchment, and Donald Trump looks like he's made out of donuts. He just looks... he quite possibly is made of donuts. His food intake is whatever comes in a bucket. I mean, sometimes I think, is this actually happening? Is this real life, or am I hallucinating? If the election were held tomorrow, 43% said they'd vote for Trump and 39% said Biden. Other polls have suggested that a conviction could cost Trump enough votes to change the outcome of the election. That's a poll published in February found that Biden's 1-point overall lead among registered voters extended to 6 points when respondents were asked for a conviction, if a conviction would change things. They're waiting to find out whether he's a nice guy or not. To find out if he's innocent. What a way to run a planet. I can't believe it. And they're thinking about sending Farage over there to be his chief hem sniffer. His job will be to tell him how wonderful and smart and beautiful and slender he is.
Trust me, I'm like a smart person.
Like a smart person. I double dare you, Nigel Farage. Tell Donald Trump he's like a smart person. Anyway, more of that later. Darryl texts, the latest ghoul on the conveyor belt... Shh. The latest ghoul on the conveyor belt of Tory party deputy chairmen is none other than Jonathan Portgullis, who no doubt will be put on drawbridge... On what? Oh, never mind. I suspect he was a listener with material.
Oh, no.
Tying my tongue in knots. And Ahmed Tech. Oh, this is a poem. A poem.
Boring.
There was an old lady from Thwing. I don't know. Do we want to hear the rest of this? Do you want to hear the rest of this?
It's on you, boss man.
Are you talking to me? Are you talking to me? So I don't see anybody else here. There was an old lady from Thwing. Well, unfortunately, we've run out of time in this part of the programme. But leave it with me, and I'll see if it tickles my fancy later. 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Email nicka@lbc.co.uk. If you're on Twitter, it's @LBC. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and this week, Monday night at 10, Nick Abbot, LBC.
This is LBC.
Imagine, it's Saturday. 1 minute you're lying on the sofa, horizontal, in your pyjamas, trying to guess which celeb is dressed up as a singing chicken, eyeing up the last sweet and sour pork ball. And the next, prawn crackers, you're a millionaire. Lotto, will you be next? Play on app, the National Lottery. Account terms, rules and procedures apply. Players must be 18 or over.
Here at the Virgin Games Development Hub, we run all sorts of tests to make sure our players get the most thrilling experiences, wherever they are. Like testing our game recommendations feature for people playing in the bar. Or our daily free games for people playing on the train. Or the perfect amount of free spins you get when you play £10. Let me see. Oh, it's 30.
Get 30 free spins when you play £10. Virgin Games. Serious about play. Visit virgingames.com. 18 plus, UK only. New members only. Must opt in. Free spins on double bubble, 1p coin size, max size, 30-day expiry. Full rules at virgingames.com. Play responsibly. BeGambleAware.org.
You alright, mate?
Oh, no, my boiler's knackered. Do you know any plumbers?
Yeah, I do, yeah. You know Danny? Well, he lives next door to this woman who's engaged to this lady who went to school with a bloke called Gary.
All right. Is he a plumber?
No, he's not, no. But he knows a bloke who walks a dog with this woman. Debbie, I think she's called. Well, she gets her hair cut with Sam.
Don't worry. You already know somebody who fixes boilers. British Gas. And you don't even have to be one of our customers. Our engineers are local, and their work is guaranteed for 12 months. Search British Gas Boiler Repairs.
So, is he a plumber?
Well, technically, no. But he's got a van.
Veg out with Lidl's Easter Pick of the Week. Get bags of British carrots, white potatoes, swedes, spring onions, fresh green beans and deluxe Italian shallots, all just 15p each. That's a cracking Easter with Lidl. Now that's big on quality and always Lidl on price. Subject to availability, selected stores GB only.
The McCrispy Deluxe is back until the 16th of April. Get both your hands round your tasty favourite with smoky bacon, hot and spicy mayo and a caramelised onion relish. Chicken that hits different. Available until the 16th of April. Served after 11 a.m, subject to availability.
The secret of a happy retirement tomorrow? Take control of your pensions today. Be pension confident. Download the Pension Bee app. When investing, capital is at risk.
At Wix, get Dulux Standard 2.5 litre coloured emulsion was £21, now £15. Be house proud with Wix. Ends Wednesday. Terms apply.
fashion, it's a fickle game. Something's in, then it's out. But real style is always en vogue. So why not choose the iconic Fiat 500 for just £199 a month, plus an initial rental of £999. The Fiat 500, in budget and always in style.
Personal contract hire on Fiat 500 mild hybrid 1 litre 70 horsepower hatchback. T's and C's subject to state and availability. 18 plus. You will not own the car. Stellantis Financial Services.
This is LBC with Nick Abbott. Call 0345 6060 973. Tweet at LBC. Text 84850.
You know, some whack job can say this stuff and get away with it?
Ahmed text, there was an old lady from Thwing. Listening to Nick Abbott was her thing. Oh, I don't know if I want to hear the rest of this. What do you think? No, I'm unsure. Zagreb. Frankie.
Nico, how are you doing, pal?
Yes, good, thanks.
The great man. What's happening?
Just doing a show. This and that.
Oh, I know, but I'm just... I've missed... what's the weather like in Glasgow?
Are you calling me from Zagreb to see what the weather's like in Glasgow? I'll give you 2 guesses.
Well, because...
2 guesses? Guess one?
But you do know I'm Frankie from Glasgow, but I'm in Zagreb.
Okay. You say that like say that like we're old friends. Do I know you? No, I don't think so. Yeah, okay, all right.
Right.
You're in Zagreb, the capital of Poland, of course.
Yes, just north of Stockholm.
Yeah, it's actually the capital of Bavaria, which is in Poland. Any fool know that. Or either that or it's a farming community in Wales. Where is it?
Luxembourg.
Luxembourg.
Right. So is it raining in Glasgow?
Let me check on that for you, Frankie. Leave it with me. I'll put you on hold. 0345 6060 973. Hey, you took that beautiful poem away. That was art, that was. I haven't finished with that. Put it back. Pretty please with sugar on top. Can you put it back? There it is. There was an old lady from Thwing. Listening to Nick Abbott was her thing. But when he said her tan was fake, and then there's another couple of lines, and I'm not sure we really want to read that, but, as we go along, we'll see how we feel, eh? Fretting Tory MPs have urged titchy suit size to name Nigel Farage as Britain's ambassador to the US. Was Coco the clown not available?
Yeah. Where
yeah, not you. Panicking Tories who don't know where they're going to get another job that pays 6 figures and £250,000 in expenses that they don't even have to show up for, say they want Tetchy to hire Nigel Farage to be our man in Washington to stop him spearheading Reform UK's election bid. Not because he's the best man for the job, or that he is believable in the role of doing what's best for this country, because he doesn't really have much of a track record in that. How's Brexit going, by the way?
Oh, fabulous.
So these patriotic Tories want Nigel Farage to be Britain's ambassador to the United States of America. Not because it would be best for the country or best for their party, but in order to save their own jobs. Well, that would certainly be on trend. I mean, you'd be amazed if they had any other top party.
Under my leadership, the government's priorities are your priorities. The people's priorities.
I mean, it's just vomit-inducing, isn't it? He does 2 speeds. That sort of puppy dog yearning and rocking back and forth in his chair, ready to explode with fury that someone has the temerity to question him. I mean, so the Tories are increasingly worried about Reform's rise in the opinion polls. I'd have thought that they would be more concerned about Labour's rise in the opinion polls. And they fear that Nigel Farage could return to frontline politics, and that would turbocharge Reform's growing popularity. Because those people that believed what Nigel Farage said last time and were sorely disappointed are keen to be disappointed again. The streak of masochism is wide with these people. They love a bit of it. Thank you, sir. May I have another? A latest YouGov poll put Reform on 16%, within touching distance of the Tories on 21%. 21%. It also showed the insurgents leading among working-class voters. Those voters who are easily persuaded that it's the people coming out of small boats that they have to be concerned of, rather than people coming out of Eton and Harrow and Dulwich. And Farage has consistently refused to rule out mounting another bid to become an MP, because if at first you don't succeed, and at second you don't succeed, and at third and fourth and fifth and sixth you don't succeed, and then you lose to a man in a dolphin suit, why not try again, eh, Nige?
I'm a nutcase.
You'd have to be. Tory MPs are now suggesting that Rishi Sunak should give Nigel Farage the ambassadorship and a peerage in return for him not making a return to frontline politics. Can you believe that? I mean, they're not even trying to hide it anymore. A peerage, Mr. Flat Hat and a prop point, Mr. Down-to-Earth, man of the people, ennobled to sit with the lords and the ladies. Wouldn't that be absolutely a perfect end to his story? And the government's expected to name a replacement for Britain's current ambassador to the US, Dame Karen Pierce. And the Tories have claimed that the Prime Minister should use it as an opportunity to utilise Farage's close links with Donald Trump, who could return as the US President in November's election. Nightmares do come true. Because cozying up to a man whose only interest is self-advancement would be very Nigel Farage. He must know loads of people like that. Each one just as despicable as the Mango Mussolini. You know, we could have been a contender. We could have been somebody instead of being run by a bunch of bums, which is what we are. To mangle the Brando quote. 0345 6060 973. Look, here it is. An old friend. Oldbury, Ranjit.
Nick, you okay?
Yes, good, thanks. Don't ask me what the weather is like in Glasgow.
Okay. I'm not going to bother with that one. You know this Nigel Farage character, yeah? You know,
I do know it.
Have you still got that clip about the one with the horse that hit him in the head or whatever? You know that one?
Unfortunately not. No, I don't have that, no.
Okay. You know Nigel Farage, he's never been anything, right? He's just a loudmouth, right, that thinks he can, activate the dinglings. Right, even the dinglings have got more wiser now to Nigel Farage.
I'm not sure that's true.
No, I think they have, right? What they're looking for is an alternative to Labour, right? But they don't want the Conservatives. And last time, they sucked up enough votes, right, the UKIP or whatever party you belonged to at that time, to keep Labour out. And unfortunately, the task this time is too big. And now he's going to escape to America, right? And then he's going to come back, when the Tories have lost the election. He's going to say, well, if I was here, I would have done this, I would have done that.
Yeah, that part I believe. It would have been much better if only you'd listened to me, yeah.
Yeah, do it now. Let's see what you're made of, mate. Because I said this to you on the last general election. I said because everybody was saying, "Oh, he's against Boris Johnson," and I said on your programme, if he's got any balls, stand against Boris Johnson, then head to head and see what you like. Because even then, I predicted that they're trying to suck up the floating vote, right?
At this point, I just cannot believe that there are so many people who have not decided yet. I mean, what else do you need to make your mind up? A fifth of the people in this country who expressed a preference are still saying that they're going to vote Conservative.
Yeah, but you know what it is? It's hard to explain. See, that's 20%, yeah?
It's close.
Some of them...
Very, very close, yeah. A fifth is very, very close to 20%. That is just a mathematical fact.
Yeah, right. Those people, think that they're not being affected by this thing because most of the things that the Tories have done have been by stealth, right?
I don't know. It doesn't seem
Waiting
It doesn't seem very stealth-like. I mean, have you been to your doctor lately? No, of course not, because you can't get anywhere near him or her.
Yeah, your hospital appointments, your children, if you got any, you're going to study in porta cabins and stuff like that because your schools are full of rats. Yeah, okay. I think Rishi Sunak's position. Yeah, you know, depending on when you was born, like you had Easter leavers, and then you had people that left in May. He's just waiting for the end of term now, Rishi Sunak, right? And, you know, he doesn't know whether to call an election or not. He knows he's leaving, he's going out, right? And he ain't really bothered, right?
Oh, I don't know. I'm not entirely convinced that that's true. I think that in their deepest desires, they can see a way through this, that if they just make enough people frightened of some imagined terror, like the small boat people, then there is a route to them winning. I firmly believe that they think that.
No, they can think what they like, Nick. Right at the moment, right? They can believe in fairies, right? They can do whatever they want. They can go to the the wizard land or whatever. But the people now, what's more important to them is like doctor's appointments, hospital appointments. They can't see a dentist, right? The only people that are doing well.
And still, a fifth of the country think that after 14 years of Conservative rule, what we need most of all is 5 more years of it.
No, people are going to, like hardware stores and buying a pair of pliers and becoming dentists themselves and pulling their teeth out, right? But, these dinglings, yeah? When you ask a dingling, and this is what me and you, we've come to this conclusion, a dingling will not admit that he is a dingling or she is a dingling.
OK, Ranjit, you have to stop saying the word dingling because it's really starting to grate on my ears. But we've just run out of time, but thanks for that.
Nick Abbott on LBC. Call 0345 6060 973.
Some nobody.
0345 6060 973. Bell texts, any chance I could borrow £60, please? I want to purchase Donald Trump's new book, The Bible. Is it 60 quid? It's not, is it? How has that man got the nerve to be selling copies of the Bible? I mean, it's just gaslighting now. More than 60. How many pounds?
65.
65 pounds. Was that $100?
I might have that in dollars. Apologies if so.
Donald Trump is selling the Bible. Well, con artists used to go door to door to sell the Bible. They made a movie out of it called Paper Moon. And now he's one of those people. He must have thought, what can I get the morons who have joined my cult to give me money for? Now, I've tried to sell them shares in my loss-making social media company, but there's only so much that you can rinse them for that. So, I know, the Bible. All of those people love the Bible, despite the fact that they don't actually live their lives to its tenets. Those people. We'll get them to buy that. Wow. If that is not proof positive that there is no such thing as God, I don't know what is. That book is not bursting into flames. How long... The message coming in from next door. How long till he claims he wrote it? I totally did that. Everybody says so. They said you did a fantastic job. People are, well, I was going to say buying it, but literally and figuratively, they're buying this. That Donald Trump, Mr. Grabby Hands, is a religious man. When asked what was his favourite book, he said the Bible. And then the obvious follow-up question is, what's your favourite part? Oh, all of it. I like all of it. I don't want to choose. He could be the next leader of the free world. What a way to run a planet, eh?
Dreadful.
0345 6060 973. Ashford, Milan.
Ah, Mr. Abbott.
Yes.
How are you?
I'm very well, thanks.
I am going to do something controversial.
Were you going to leave the toilet? Because that's what it sounds like you're talking to me in.
Let me. What about now?
Better. It's like you climbed out of a well.
It's hands-free, the technology age.
Right.
I was going to give Nigel Farage, the nation's sweetheart, a bit of a compliment. He actually has proven successfully how easy it is to con large parts of the electorate.
Piece of cake.
Piece of cake. It's easy, and he is terrified of scrutiny. I remember he had a show on LBC, and I was on there, and I kept asking him questions about details and facts, and he took to it like how a vampire takes the sunlight.
Well, we're not really. I know on this programme we're not really very bothered about facts. Facts are anathema to this show.
Well, when it came to Brexit, where I was asking him all these details and all these legal consequences, he couldn't not give two hoots. He was didn't care.
Well, Aaron Banks said it best. He said of the campaign to get us to leave the European Union, he said, don't bother people with facts because it's all white noise. He said, we're into feelings now, baby. We didn't quite use that exact phrase, but that's what he said. It's all about feelings.
Yeah.
Don't muddy the waters with your facts, Milan.
And I think Johnson, Rees-Mogg and co just looked at Farage and went, what on earth have we been doing? We've been doing it all wrong.
Yeah.
Why don't we just lie? And why don't we just be incompetent? And why don't we be corrupt?
Mm-hmm.
And look how far we can get.
Yeah.
And look how far they have got.
And look how far they have got.
My view.
Exactly. Yes. Precisely right. And I think that other countries look at this example, and particularly the one in America with Trump, and politicians there think, exactly as you've just described, they think, well, why am I bothering trying to be truthful and honest and do the right thing? All I have to do is tell just enough people to persuade them that the people that are holding them back is that identifiable minority over there, and I can just sail into office on a wave of hatred.
Yeah, I know. And then it really grates on me when commentators go, yeah, but Farage and Trump, they are charismatic, aren't they?
Oh, God. Yeah, so was Hitler. I mean, I'm not comparing them both to Hitler, but Hitler was charismatic. There's no doubt about it.
Swiftly moving on. I was going to mention remakes, if that's okay.
Yeah, but I mean that's no recommendation that they're charismatic. Some of the worst people that have ever lived have been charismatic. That's why they got to the position that they found themselves in which they could, wield power over the rest of us poor dopes who pay taxes.
Yeah, like Joseph Stalin. But yes.
And this greedy nincompoop.
The great big greedy nincompoop.
Yeah, he's got loads of charisma, but do we actually want him running anything like more complicated than a bath?
And is that it's probably a sad indictment of us as electorate?
It's our fault.
Can be conned
so
easily.
It's all our fault, Milan. It's all our fault.
Can I ask you about remakes? That's
yes.
Okay, so I saw the remake of Roadhouse, and
Roadhouse.
Yeah, it's a Patrick Swayze film in the 80s, which was fantastic, and it got a reboot recently. It's good, but it's not a patch on the original. And
I wouldn't have thought that a Patrick Swayze movie. I mean, no offence to Patrick Swayze and all the excellent work that he's done, that the names of which elude me at the moment, but. Why would they remake a film that's not that big in the first place?
Oh, Roadhouse is a classic. It's absolutely amazing film. It's so good. I've watched it hundreds of times. It's brilliant. If you like fighting, you like action, and you like then it's right up your street.
Well, it depends. Is it the kind of fighting that looks sort of real, or is it cartoon-like? Because I don't mind real. Cartoon violence. I'm just not a big fan of gore.
It's real and raw.
Okay, then it's a no from me. And furthermore... No. It's raw but not gore. It's like a one-line review. 3 stars.
It's not going to be. It's not going to have your Mission Impossible time. It's not like if you're looking for Mission Impossible. I know you love Mission Impossible, but it's not going to be like that.
Right.
No.
Okay. But that's why Tom Cruise is so great. It's because he does action films for grown-ups rather than this, everybody's a vampire or it's all robots that change shape or superheroes, all of that children's nonsense. There's precious few grown-up filmmakers around that aren't going to bore you to death by people talking about their feelings for 3 hours.
Actually, I don't remember any of the Oscar films. I don't think I've seen any of them. I think any of them are appealing.
Oppenheimer is.
Oh yeah, of course.
I can't say that I really enjoyed it very much. It's just weird. It's just like 2 hours of staring at this weird face in way too closer shot. I mean, no offence, but he just looks strange. And I couldn't bear looking at him for a single solitary second more. It just made me uncomfortable, like my skin's crawling.
You convinced me not to watch it then.
Yeah, no, don't bother. And if you watch the Mission Impossible one, then fast forward when they start talking, when they start just going on and on and on about the plot, trying to fill in those who went to the loo or went to the bar halfway, and they don't know what's going on, and they recap for about 30 minutes. It just is interminable. So you can skip that part and go straight to where he throws himself off a cliff.
I fell asleep during the middle of Mission Impossible.
Right, okay, exactly right. That's precisely what I just said. Yeah, sleep through
it. Cheers, Nick.
All right, thanks a lot, Milan. 0345 6060 973. Message from next door. A professional fighter was reviewed as the best actor in it, who had never acted in anything more than a Burger King advert before. Why did they have a professional fighter advertise a burger? It's bad, says the man next door, who is a fount of all knowledge. The stuff that he doesn't know isn't worth knowing. Wait, did I get that right? The stuff that he doesn't know isn't worth knowing. Wow, I've just boggled my own brain. Paul texts, don't forget the clocks go forward on Sunday morning, so we'll get 1 hour less rain. An hour less rain. That's right, the clocks go forward. I am amazed. I thought we were waiting for another month. I found this out just a couple of days ago. The clocks are going forward Sunday morning, as in 2 o'clock, just after I get off the air. That's great. We'll be stepping into the light. Marvellous. Of course, it'll still be freezing and cold and, wet and miserable and grey, but at least there'll be more of it.
Nick Abbott on LBC. Call 0345 6060 973.
He thinks he looks good in a bathing suit. He doesn't.
Thanks, Tony. You're the best. You're the best Bible seller ever. I totally believe that you believe all of that, that Christian stuff. Kath texts, is Easter Jesus' second birthday? Nick says, can you imagine what it's going to be like for the British in October when they have to have a biometric test done before they can get into the evil empire of the European Union? Brexit just keeps on giving. Yes, it does. How is Brexit going, by the way?
Brexit's going great.
Glad to hear it, Nige. Love your work. Don't stop keeping on. Wigan, Malcolm.
Hello, yeah. You just mentioned that you considered Hitler to be charismatic.
Yes, most certainly.
I mean, that's not necessarily the view that was shared by the Brits or indeed by the Soviet Russians.
Charismatic? Do you know what charismatic means?
It means someone who can attract support for their ideas. But as far as I'm concerned, that's one way of explaining it. And as far as I'm concerned, Hitler wasn't charismatic because he didn't attract support for his ideas.
He did.
And indeed, not only that, he failed to turn up for an election.
He did.
After he'd become Chancellor, there weren't many elections after that, were there?
He persuaded an entire country to follow him.
Well, I mean, to some extent, yeah, but there were a certain number of people who didn't go along with him, weren't there? Trouble is, they ended up in concentration camps.
You're telling us this...
I'm not 100% sure he was that charismatic. I think if he'd have been charismatic, he would have called an election and proved that he had support of the German people for his disastrous policies, which he clearly could not do.
Right. OK, well, it sounds like you're giving it a lot of thought, Malcolm. It's one of the strangest calls I think I've ever had. 0345 6060 973. Questioning as to whether Adolf Hitler was charismatic. Yeah, I think that that ship has sailed, and the answer is yes. I'm not saying he was a nice person, just charismatic, that's all. That seems beyond dispute. Archie texts, it's nice that Nigel Farage has reached the sunny uplands. He must have just believed harder. Yeah, that's right. Maybe he went to the sunny uplands on a horse.
I'm immensely grateful to you for everything you've done in British politics over the last few years. I used to be an ardent Remainer. I voted Remain. I believed in the European project. Mm-hmm. I believed that staying in the European Union was the best thing for us. And then something happened, and something monumental happened. It completely changed my opinion on the whole situation.
What was that monumental thing, Mark?
I was kicked in the head by a horse.
Right, very good. Okay, fine. Thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you. It's been a pleasure. 0345 6060 973. So, one Red Wall Tory told the newspaper that Titchy Suit Size should do a deal with Nigel Farage to make him the ambassador to the United States of America in return for Farage agreeing not to stand for the Reform Party. The quote is, he already has a great relationship with Donald Trump. He would make an excellent interlocutor between the two countries. Bung him a peerage and make him ambassador is what I would do, said the Red Wall Tory MP. I'll sum that argument up for you. What's the name of this Red Wall Tory MP? You've got to be kidding me. And what is it that the Tories are expecting from cozying up to the screaming Mimi? I mean, what did we get last time? Can anyone name one single thing that we got from cozying up to the Tangerine Scream when he used to be the President of the United States of America?
A president! Can you believe it?
No, we're still stunned. I mean, they're talking about going back to the good old days. But what did we get last time? I don't recall. Simon says, talking of water, which we weren't, two things. I had a flood warning yesterday due to the rain. I thought winter was over. Second, did you see that bastion of privatisation? Thames Water is in massive financial trouble. I'm hoping that it may be nationalised, says Simon. Well, I bet that it isn't nationalised. I bet that we compensate the companies involved for the inconvenience of having to run a failing organisation, and they continue to do it at our expense, and they put up the bills. Because at this point, why not? Why not? Let's have a Waltham Forest. Dennis.
Hello?
Dennis.
Hiya, can you hear me?
Yes, Dennis.
Oh, yeah, no, I've got a question. Basically, the next election's coming up, and I'm a young voter that tries to encourage my friends to vote. And the main concern I have is whenever I look at politics, I always feel as though that they not really ever have a long-term view. And I don't really think about any party specifically, but I just think that sometimes when it comes towards election times, any party can sort of just do a sort of short-term effect in order to get them back in. And if it works, they get another term. And if it doesn't, then they can just sort of pin it on the last party, the new party in charge.
Yeah, it's called short-termism, and it is what will do for humankind.
No, my main idea was, and I was just going to lay it by you. I don't know if you'd
lay it on me, baby. Go ahead.
If we were to do like one mayoral election in a certain state, so in a certain area, to have a one-party state, just to see how that would work. How would you think that would go?
Badly. Well, we've had a one-party state for the last 14 years. How's that gone for you?
No, I know, but it's still technically a democratic election. If we were literally to have everyone together.
I don't understand what the difference would be between what we have now and what you're just describing. I mean,
so no party would have a dominant vote?
No party would have a dominant vote. So who is the decider?
No. So literally have an equal distribution of any party that wants to run across and then they'll have equal representation.
What,
and
just hand out parts of the capital city willy-nilly to whoever wants to start a political party?
Not necessarily London, but for example, Birmingham.
Let's experiment with Birmingham first.
Why not? You know, I mean, if they've gone bankrupt.
I mean, who cares about Birmingham, right? Yeah.
Exactly.
No, I'm thinking no, Dennis. And furthermore, no, it's a definite no from me.
No, I don't think it'd be a great idea either.
No.
Well, thanks for the conversation.
Okay, thanks a lot, Dennis. But do remember to vote. Just don't screw it up, that's all. Get a voter ID. Very, very important. For reasons that have not been properly explained to us, other than it's the Tories taking the cute idea from the Republican Party to try to prevent anybody that might vote for a different party from going to the polls in the first place. Very, very curious. It's almost like they're trying to steal the election. Martin says the CEO of Centrica, who owns British Gas, got a £3.7 million pay rise. Wow. I guess he needed it to help get by, what with the cost of living problems that we're all struggling with, says Martin. Well, you know, every little counts. £3.7 million pay rise. Well, because he's worth it. I mean, they just write their contracts themselves, the CEO class. Not personally themselves, but other CEOs will sit on their remuneration committees. And they call it remuneration rather than pay, because remuneration, 5 syllables, to denote a very, very large amount of money. That's what they get, remuneration. You get pay. Less. And they all sit on their own remuneration, or each other's remuneration committees, and they say, well, this person is tremendously upstanding. I mean, look at the suit that he's got. Good grief, he's fantastic. Or her, sexist. Then that person is worth at least £5 million a year, plus a bonus of double that, and, a free house and 6 cars and hot and cold running servants and all the rest of it. And then when it comes out around to the pay awards for the people who sat on that person's remuneration committee, they can point to their own work, essentially, and say, well, look, that bloke over there is getting all of that, so I must be worth that too. What a racket, eh? 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Email nick@lbc. Oh, I'm going to cough. Hang on. Very, very, very ill.
Whinging and whining and moaning.
Tariq texts, I've just donated 5 pence to the Tory party. What are the chances of me getting a knighthood? Well, I think it's approximately nil. Yeah, about 0. I'll pencil you in for never. How does never sound, Tariq? 0345 6060 973. Friday, Saturday, Sunday night at 10. Nick Abbot, LBC.
On your radio, on Global Player, and
Play LBC.
Leading Britain's conversation. This is LBC. This is LBC from Global. Leading Britain's conversation with Nick Abbott.
You're joking.
Is he crazy, or is that just the way he acts?
0345 6060 973. Terry, no, I don't know what. David says, the clocks are going forward tomorrow night. Glasgow will get an hour's less rain. That's a thought that has already been suggested. Albert says, I think the water company should have its own rowing team. and then after the race, they should all jump in the river, and then after they've swallowed some of the filth they poured in there, they might realise what the rest of us have to put up with, says Albert, who is almost certainly on a list now for even thinking such a thing. Merthyr Tydfil, hello, Jeff.
Hey, Nick. I just don't get this situation. You know, you're living in it. You live with Thames Water. You know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And I'm in South Wales, okay? And I get a bill, and they tell me that Welsh Water is a nationalised industry, a company, that everything I pay is used to invest.
Right.
And I know for a fact that years ago it was privatised. It was Hyder. It was a company called Hyder that suddenly became nationalised. When, I don't know. All I know is I get a bill and I pay the bill, and it says on the bill that everything that I pay will go into infrastructure, into its non-profit making.
Right.
So it's a terrible anathema to the local Conservatives.
Oh, I bet they hate it. Yeah.
They say, look at all the stuff you're pumping into the rivers and the sea and all the rest of it, because we have a legacy of our overflows all over the UK. When the storms come, the overflows put sewage into the rivers. Okay, this is the excuse that's being used by everybody.
Right.
But here, we are, and I know for a fact locally there's a huge investment going on to improve infrastructure. So here you have a situation which is, I'm quite happy to pay the bill. Do you know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah, in much the same way that I would be happier to pay tax if I didn't feel that the government was just taking it from me and giving it straight to their mates.
Yeah. Now, what is the problem then? Because I listened to LBC over the last couple of days, and everybody's coming on and saying, no, you can't nationalise it, including Labour MPs.
Why?
We're saying, we haven't got the money and all the rest of it. We can't do it.
The problem with nationalising it is that the water companies have borrowed something like 60 billion, not million, billion pounds in order to give themselves a weirdly precise amount of £57 billion. So they essentially borrowed money against the infrastructure that we gave them, and gave themselves all of the money that they borrowed, which they should have been spending on infrastructure, and then we wouldn't have hot sewage pouring all over us.
Yeah, but okay, they carry in the bill. They borrowed the money.
Yeah, but if we nationalise the company, well, I assume, unless there's a workaround, then we will nationalise that debt. They will have taken they will have taken the money, and then left us with the bill.
Yeah, but there's no way out of it, is there? There doesn't seem to be an escape, yeah?
How can it not be against the law to pour raw sewage all over the country? How? How are these people not in jail now? I mean, why aren't we building extra jails to fit all of those people in?
Yep, I entirely agree. But I got an awful feeling they're going to end up in the House of Lords.
They will get away with it. Yes, they ain't going to jail. Quite right. They're going to the House of Lords. Yes, that is absolutely true. Oh, that's the British way. Yeah. All right, keep your nose clean, Jeff. Thanks a lot, mate. 0345 6060 973. Brian texts, Rishi Fishy Titchy Suitsai's plan to stop the boats on the Isle of Wight is working. A number of hydrofoils and ferries have been cancelled. The Islanders' MP Bob Seeley must be pleased, as Rishi's top priority is to stop the boats is working on the island. I have no idea what you're talking about. Hydrofoils have been cancelled. What, is that the weather? I don't know anything about that. But then, the Isle of Wight remains shrouded in mystery to me. It's like going back in time to the 1970s, last time I was there. And I got on pretty much what seemed to be the only bus on the island, because I foolishly went there without a car. And I got off the boat, risking my life, by the way, because it's very, very dangerous to get off that boat if you're on foot, because I was pretty much the only person who was on foot. Everyone else was in a car. Try exiting a car ferry if you're not in a car. I thought I was going to die. So I got out of there, and I waited about half an hour for a bus that I was quite surprised actually arrived eventually. And did they take credit cards on the bus?
No.
Of course not. So I had to have change. Who has change anymore? And he said, that'll be 5 bob.
What?
Yeah, bob. So it actually was like going back in time to the 1970s. And everybody under the age of 40 is going, Bob? 5 bob? What's he talking about? Ask your parents, kids. 0345 6060 973. Let's have a call in East Yorkshire. Mike.
Hi, Andy. Yeah, good show tonight.
Mike.
Right, couple of Trump bits.
Oh, yeah.
Trump's limited edition Bible, yeah, it has a huge appendix. Now, Trump is completely unsuitable to go with the scriptures, but he's equally unsuitable to go with the appendix. Can you guess what it is?
Don't grab women in the changing room at Bergdorf Goodman? I've got no idea.
Could be. The American Constitution is included as an appendix.
The American Constitution is included as an appendix to the Bible that Donald Trump is selling.
Yeah.
And is an application to join his Coral Gables golf club in there as well.
Well, that was my same point about Trump, because last Sunday he was presented by Jack Nicklaus with 2 trophies for winning his club's tournament, the normal one and the senior one, which apparently he's winning again this year.
Right. Well, I'm less interested in what Jack Nicklaus has to say and more interested in what Jack Nicholson has to say.
True enough, yeah. One last quick one for you.
Yeah.
You ought to be agreeing with what Snug said about Thames Water this week.
What did he say?
He said it should be allowed to go bust, and if the shareholders lose all the money, that's capitalism.
Yeah, but the shareholders won't lose all their money because they've taken it already. That's capitalism. Or at least a twisted form of it that we've got going on over here at the moment. Capitalism is not really what's happening here. It's more like it's a kleptocracy.
Vulture capitalism is what's happening.
Do what, sorry?
Vulture capitalism, which we ought to outlaw.
Vulture capitalism. Right.
Vulture capitalism. You can't have monopoly. It's not capitalism.
No, exactly right. Of course. I mean, what stupid moron came up with the idea of selling our water, the second most precious substance known to mankind, and giving it to companies to run as a monopoly? Which part of that makes sense?
The same as the railways. Most of railway journeys are actually a monopoly.
Correct. That's right. You want to go from London to Bournemouth, there's only one train company that will take you there. Correct. That's why it costs £100 to get there and back. 100.
When will we ever learn?
Well, I don't know. I'm not holding out any hope. All right, thanks a lot, Mike. 0345 6060 973. So they're trying to get Nigel Farage to stop being mean to them and leeching their votes to the Reform Party, are the Tories, because they are now gripped with a certain amount of panic that they aren't going to be able to find a job that pays quite as well as being an MP, that requires less work and is as fated and gives more opportunities for raking in money on the side. I mean, no such job exists. Other jobs that pay a 6-figure salary with £250,000 in expenses require you to actually show up for work. Not just swan around and have a blooming TV show or make videos of yourself talking about scroats and scumbags. This is, I mean, I'll restate my case from last week. This is now a silly country. If only it were a happy, silly country. Another Conservative frontbencher suggested that Nigel Farage should be handed a seat in the House of Lords in return for Reform, who were recently boosted by former Deputy Chairman Lee Anderson defecting to their ranks, standing down all candidates at the election, just as the Brexit Party did in 2019. None of these people are actually hiding this anymore. They are not remotely interested in what benefits the country. They're not even interested in what benefits their own party. They're just out for themselves. This Tory MP said, "I think it would be easier to do a deal saying we will make you a Conservative peer." I can't believe that they're saying this stuff out loud. Can you? I mean, it's just extraordinary. It's like a banana republic that we've got going on here. And I feel like I want to apologise to fruit. Farage himself has rejected the idea of any pact between him and the Tories ahead of the general election. I am not for sale, he said. I am not for sale, said the man who was literally for sale on a website that sells video birthday wishes from the person of your choice. He was duped into sending messages, including the phrase up the Ra, which means the IRA. And he took money to wish a happy birthday to one Mr. Janus. First name, Hugh.
Disgusting.
Yeah, that video is still available on the World Wide Web. But you probably don't want to put that term in Google. Probably don't want to do that.
Warning, warning.
No. My advice is don't do that. So he seems highly qualified to represent His Majesty's government on the world stage. Just the very chap. What a way to run a country, eh?
Dreadful.
I am stunned. I am. Just when you thought it couldn't get any worse, it does. Ain't that right, Bodge?
I can't comment on that.
And then we got that nincompoop whose latest video is him swapping hats. And I could not be bothered to read the actual column because it's behind a paywall. And if you think I'm going to pay to read what that man says, you have another thing coming.
Nick Abbott on LBC. Call 0345 6060 973.
Hot H-O-T-A-I-R.
Phil text, this is Phil in New York. I want to hear the poem, says Phil. Well, we're just going to have to add that to your life's disappointments, Phil. Mick says, the Tories have missed a trick. They should have given the chief executive of Thames Water a knighthood for services of monopoly provision. That would have kept people away from talking about cronyism. And on the upside for Rishi, he has kept inflation down. The price of a gong hasn't gone up. Well, that is a good point, yeah. It does seem to be a certain automatic policy that kicks in if you give a certain amount of money. It's probably the best investment you could make. You don't really need millions, just a couple of thousand should do it. Best investment you can make, invest with the Conservative Party. Tom says, Nick, did I miss the Islamist revolution George Galloway was supposed to be leading? Yeah, that's right. God, for weeks it seems we were talking about that, like it was the end of the world that George Galloway is now an elected representative. And it was going to mean disaster, and, this country was finally going to go down the plug hole. And what happened? Nothing. Same as what happened last time he was an MP. Nothing. Which I said at the time. It seems so long ago now, so many catastrophic events have befallen us since George Galloway was elected. But the fuss that went on about him, I mean, so what? And so far, nothing. Judas texts, scumbag atheist communist mocking Christ again, burn in hell. Says Judas. I'll have to assume that's a joke. 0345 6060 973. Devon, hello, Rose.
Oh, hello, Nick.
Rose.
Oh, thank goodness you're there.
Finally.
I mean, obviously you were there, but you know what I mean.
No. I'm
No.
here. I'm over here.
And I just rung up about the so-called government and the water companies, and I thought I'd put a word in for the Kingfisher.
Oh, yes. The Kingfisher. Yeah.
Yes.
He's going to be sorely disappointed because all the fish are dead. They're floating upside down.
Not. But yes, you see, this is the thing, is it? Somehow or other, these people have the right to poison our protected species. I mean, you won't be allowed to go out and shoot a kingfisher. And I just keep thinking about them. I do see them from time to time, you see. And they're little tiny turquoise, and they glint in the sun as they whiz along the top of the river.
I thought they were big kingfishers. Aren't they very large?
No, that's herons. No. That's
No,
funny because
not that big. I mean, I thought that they were sort of blackbird-sized. Aren't they?
No, not
Bigger than that.
kingfishers, darling, no.
No?
They're actually, they seem quite minute when you see them flying.
Huh.
Yeah, and they whiz at great speed along the river, as it were, but obviously above it.
How do birds,
plunge.
how do birds, by the way, manage to fly through a tree without knocking themselves out? I mean, how can they go that fast through foliage without coming a cropper? It amazes me every time I see one of them do it.
Yes, it is. It is, isn't it? It is extraordinary.
I mean, with their tiny little bird brains, how can they figure it out? Because if I tried to fly through a tree, Rose, catastrophe would ensue. It would be a nightmare.
I can just see it. Yes, catastrophe certainly would ensue.
Yeah, it would.
It's another thing the kingfisher does. It tunnels. They make their nests in the riverbank, and they can tunnel up to 10 feet.
What?
And these are
What do they use to tunnel?
I think that is extremely. That is extreme.
Yeah, that's going a bit too far. 10 feet. What do they dig with?
A couple of yards. Their beak. You see, they have a very long beak. It's almost as long as. Oh, I wish I'd got a picture of one in front of me. Really, their body. I mean, it really is very long.
Yeah.
You have to just Google him and you'll see him there.
That's why I thought they were big, because their beaks are so big. I thought a small bird couldn't handle a beak that big. I mean, they would, as they were flying along. They would keep dropping to the ground because they'd be front heavy.
Ah, well, that'll be why the wings just go at such a rapid pace, and you see this marvellous glinting turquoise going zoom.
Right.
And one of them is digging out this, through the riverbank, while the other one stands guard, and then they change over.
Well, it sounds
I've
like
never seen this,
Oh, right.
I just read about it.
I've read about it, right. Well, that's all we'll be doing about nature from this moment on, I would expect. Just reading about it. Yeah, we used to have rivers, and fish and insects and such would be in those rivers, if you can believe that, kids. And
yes, dragonflies, damselflies. And
you'll only be able to see nature on one of them David Attenborough films.
Well, hopefully I'll be dead before then.
Oh, Rose.
I do think like that, yes. I mean, I think, thank God, I know it's an awful thing to say, I've just been chatting to your glorious, glamorous assistant.
Yeah.
I'm glad I'm not his age. I mean, I have seen all these lovely creatures. And,
yes. I do tend to agree that it's quite possible, I'm prepared to believe, that the best years for the human race are behind us.
It could well be, couldn't it?
Yeah.
And now, see, this... Which shall I say? It suddenly occurred to me, you see, you might like this. We are plankton ourselves, talking about water.
What?
That's all we are in this country now. We're plankton, scurrying around, feeding the corporations, the feral corporations that are at the top of the food chain.
Right.
We're just here to feed them. I mean, what do these water companies do? Nothing. They simply sit there and ask for our money.
Yes.
That's all they do.
Well, they demand it with menaces.
They demand it with menaces, and the government's put them there or allowed them to be there. And this word duty of care, I know I've used it before. Maybe it's something in my psyche. I've suddenly got obsessed with the idea of duty of care. Isn't that what a government was originally for?
It's their number one priority. Yes, that's supposed to be their chief function, is to protect us.
Yes, but I mean, that's it. And do you know what I think happened? I think people have forgotten completely what the government is supposed to be.
Yeah.
I mean, you were wondering, and I was wondering, whilst you were wondering, why there was still this 5% that will vote Conservative.
No, not
they
5,
20%.
20%. A fifth.
Sorry, the 5 was another number, wasn't it? Maths isn't my thing. Daughter of a scientist, can't do maths.
A fifth of the people in this country, having lived through 14 years of Conservative rule, knowing everything that has happened to all that is important to them in the meantime, think that the best thing for us all is to have 5 more years of it. How can you think that? It's just, it boggles my mind. My mind is being boggled right now, Rose. This is what it sounds like. That's my mind being boggled.
I know, but maybe they don't make the connection, you see.
Maybe they don't make the connection because they're too busy obsessing about people in boats, which is why the government keep mentioning it all the time, because they think if we just keep saying boats all the time, then people are going to be afraid. They'll be as afraid as they were in America about reds under the bed, you know, commies. And it has been tried by organisations of ill intent many times, and it often works. Just pin the blame for everything that ails you on a small identifiable minority.
Well, it does, and if at the same time we've been in a situation for so long where we don't even, actually that's not true, people still think that the government's going to do something about things, don't they? But we've been for so long without them, you know, with them simply destroying everything and giving it to the private companies.
You'd think they'd have learned that lesson by now. I mean, that's the galling part, is that they're not hiding it and laughing at us.
But Nick, people don't remember that is what they're supposed to do, look after us.
Right.
They've forgotten that. They think that those people are just there to play their power game.
Right, and that this is normal. Hey,
yeah, exactly.
Sheeple, wake up, this isn't normal.
And take our birds away.
Yeah.
You know, they can take everything from us.
Precious birds. Good point. Thanks a lot, Rose. Cheers, my dear. 0345 6060 973. And I'm looking at a picture of a kingfisher right now, and it is an extraordinary looking thing. Marvellous. We'll miss them when they're gone. And if they eat any of the fish in the rivers around these parts... Warning! They'll be gone pretty quick, I expect. Nick texts, when Farage worked at LBC, did you ever have the pleasure of meeting him in the corridor or at a works do? No. But I was in the same room as him, and he wears Union Jack socks. That's right. Looked like they were made of nylon to me. And he put his feet on our national flag. Can you believe that? I am appalled. Speaking as a patriot. Bill texts, the present Democratic government of the US would absolutely hate unelected bureaucrat Farage. Oh, they would. Yes, they would. Yeah. They would dislike him a very great deal indeed. Yes. So I would, I was going to say if I was the government, I would wait to see who's going to be the president next time around before you make a silly move that might backfire on us. But at this point, you know, all bets are off. And I'm not in any way convinced that the government cares about what happens to this country one way or the other. They just seem to be running around in a blind panic that the gravy train is about to pull into the station and they'll all have to get off. And then what will they do? They'll have to fall back on their skills.
Absolutely.
The best of luck with that. Good grief.
Leading Britain's conversation. Nick Abbott. Alexa, send a comment to LBC.
Right, so what are we doing?
Given we're doing a radio show, keep up. Joe texts, seeing as this Sunday is highly abnormal, what with God and Jesus and eggs and stuff, and considering you have to work an extra day because of your lazy colleagues, can you fit in another abnormal normal show rather than a normal abnormal show as an Easter treat for all of your chocolate-covered listeners? Sorry for the long sentence. I couldn't work out how to fit a full stop into it, says Joe. Absolutely, Joe. It's not a request show. Georgia says, nearly 30 minutes into the show, this was about an hour ago, nearly 30 minutes into the show, and not once have you yet managed to slip in your apparent favoured line from Pretty Woman. Pretty Woman. Big mistake. Huge. Plenty of opportunities, but no, nothing. Shame. Not that I'm complaining, says Georgia.
Stop whining.
Yeah, stop whining, Georgia. I still think they got that line wrong. It's one of the... It's weird lines that sort of take on a life of their own outside of a film. And I sort of doubt that people who write those lines know that they're writing gold. I mean, it's just a throwaway line. Big mistake, huge, she said, to the woman who snubbed her when she was dressed like a,
disgusting.
When she was dressed like what she was in the film. And when she came back, laden down with bags from other stores, and asked the shop assistant, is she paid on commission? and that it was a big mistake, huge, to have displeased her by not serving her before. But that's not how the line goes in the film. I think it's big mistake, big, huge. And that doesn't scan right to me. I think it should have been big mistake, huge. That's funnier, no? I mean, usually, less words is funnier. I always thought that that was... that it just grates on me when I see it. It's like, no, that's not right. You've screwed it up, you silly woman. But she's probably doing precisely what she was told to. But I wonder if people did realise when they wrote that they thought, oh, this is really going to ring down the ages. Like, they mostly come out at night. Mostly. I mean, it's nothing at all. But I'm obsessed with it. 0345 6060 973. Let's have Rochester. Lulu.
Hello, darling.
Lulu.
Hello, darling.
Yes, Lulu.
Love you very much, Nick. Love you very much.
Love you long time
Yes.
too. Yeah.
Yes. So I just want to say, Rose, your previous caller, I'd love to be her granddaughter. She makes me feel so safe and happy,
Right.
She's a wonderful woman.
Yeah.
She's a wonderful woman. Anyway, apart from that, I called you because of Trump. I'm very, very concerned.
You are?
So, yes. I mean, my God, if that creature gets power again, we are screwed, man. We are screwed big time. I was reading in the Salon.
In the what?
It's called the Salon, and they have all these.
The Salon. What? Where you get your where you get your do done?
Well,
Yeah.
ordinarily, but this is a publication where people who are, professional psychologists, psychiatrists, they've assessed this man.
They've got an ology.
They've got an ology, many ologies. They've got all that jazz.
Yeah.
He has got prefrontal
Yes.
dementia. Right, this man.
Right.
That is their assessment, and that means that, my God, if that person gets power again, oh my God, what are we going to do?
Well, you could change your hair to a more sleek style.
You don't need to put all of that product in your hair. You just don't.
You just don't, Lulu.
Funny enough, Nick, I've just gone for a more sleek style.
Is that a fact?
So, yeah.
So you're slipping through the air much more easily now. You can really pick up speed.
I have got aerodynamicness to the max. I'm so good.
Well, I'm glad to hear it. Cheers, my dear. She has got aerodynamicness to the max. I want you to write that down. Dave texts, I'm in North Carolina, and the MAGA morons keep driving around my neighbourhood in their Ford F-150 pickup trucks, flying the Confederate flag. Oh, the Confederate flag. Well, the losing side.
Oh, shut up!
He says, no doubt Trump Bibles will soon be sold door to door. I'm living in Crazy Town, says Dave. Yeah, you are. You should get out of Crazy Town, Dave, before your neighbours come over and ask you to cut eye holes in your sheets and join them on the lawn. Don't bother to pack anything. Just get in the car and leave right now. I mean it. 0345 6060 973. Let's have... it's been waiting the longest. It's Cheshire. Hello, John.
You just got me laughing. I'm losing train of thought now.
Oh, you've got to make notes, John. Got to make notes.
Got to make notes, yeah. Most people don't realise that the shareholders of all the water companies in this country are governments and banks of foreign countries.
Yes, it's all foreign owned. Institutions like pension funds and wealth funds and hedge funds and all of that.
Bank of Australia, Deutschland Bank.
All of that.
All them own our water.
Amazing.
Anyway.
They are based in countries that wouldn't dream of selling their water. We're the only country in the world that has sold off all our water. The only one on Earth ever.
Good old Margaret Thatcher. She was brilliant, wasn't she? Hey?
Yeah. Margaret Thatcher. Milk snatcher. Yeah, thanks a lot, Margaret. You see what you've done?
The other thing that you're on about is the fifth of the country still don't know who to vote for.
Yeah.
They're waiting for a used car salesman, Del Boy kind of character.
Well, we've got one of those.
I'm a nutcase.
Yeah. Well, he's a frog. He looks like a frog to me.
Well, that should not be an impediment to your elevation up the political pole, that you look like a frog.
Well, maybe, but what are we waiting for? Are we waiting for I think we're waiting for a Hugh Janus to stand up.
All right. Okay, a listener with material. Thanks a lot, John. 0345 6060 973. I'll leave the last word on that subject to the man himself.
Nigel Farage is not fit and proper to be in government.
If you say so, Nige. Farage or Farage? He seems to be confused himself. Which is it? Dave texts, everything in this country is knackered after 14 years of a Tory government. It's insane that the Tories still have people wanting to vote for him. Keir Starmer should be able to sit in a nappy with a dummy in his mouth blowing raspberries and still win a landslide victory. Yeah. Try it for a while, Keir Starmer. I really think at this point you don't have to try. Plus, it would be amusing, for the giggles. Tooting. Jan.
Hi, good evening, Nick.
Yes, Jan.
I've got a couple of things, or maybe three.
Couple of three things.
Yeah. So one is about it's to do with this. I mean, it seems to be going. Everything's up the spout a bit because look, there's this recent thing. They've got this £5 billion. They call it a super sewer.
Yes.
There's the Thames Tideway Tunnel.
Super sewer.
Yeah, it's taken 8 years' work to complete it, and it's due to be Thames Tideway Tunnel. It's supposed to reduce the amount of raw sewage that flows into that river. Yeah, and it's taken 8 years' work, and it's expected to be working this summer.
Yeah.
But then the critics. I mean, This is what is said about it. But the critics say climate change may give it a limited lifespan.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, climate change is going to give us all a limited lifespan.
No, but I mean, what is this? 1,200 ton concrete that will be listed on the shelf, but it's 16 miles long. This sewer, to deal with the sewage flow.
Oh.
To the river, but it's like it may just be a total waste. They say
a total waste of time. Yeah, because if the Thwaites Glacier melts, it is as we speak, it is disentangling itself from the I've got no idea. But anyway, if this Doomsday Glacier. And the clue's in the name, by the way.
Warning!
They call it the Doomsday Glacier. If it melts, then sea level will rise around the world by 10 feet, which means you can say ta-ta to pretty much every major city on Earth.
Bye-bye.
Because they're all by water.
We need another Noah's Ark, then. Everything will start again.
We're going to need a bigger boat. That's right.
But speaking about names, you mentioned about these names. I just find it so. I mean, who would? Well, look, this man, Sam, the crypto tycoon, jail for 25 years. It's just his
fried.
Freed or fried. I mean, he's a bankman who's really been fried. I mean, would you trust someone with a name like that? It's like a pun on what's actually happened to him. To me, is it freed or fried? Anyway, he's been fried. He's a bankman who's been fried.
Yes, not freed, fried.
Yeah,
that's right.
He was freed, but no, he's now fried. You know what I mean? It's extraordinary.
Yes.
But then there's what was the other thing? There is some weird news on funny. This is a funny one, though.
Well, I'll be the judge of that.
Well, yeah, no, because
we do need cheering up, though.
Yeah, this is it. Well, it's cheered me up with all the crazy news going on. But this one is about the woman who spent an entire night nursing what she thought was a baby hedgehog, turned out to be a pom-pom from a hat. and she took it to
what?
Yeah, she thought a woman spent an entire night nursing what she thought was a baby hedgehog, but it turns out when she took it to the animal, what was it, the rescue centre or something?
Yeah.
She took it to a wildlife hospital in Cheshire, and they she must have got a real twit. Then she was really embarrassed because they said at the wildlife hospital, they said it was a bobble from a hat.
Wow. Well, I will go to the foot of our stairs. If that's true, then I'm going to have to put that in my book of the year, which will be coming out in about 8 months.
They got her name. The carer put the bobble in a box with food.
Yeah.
And that's it. She did it, Janet Coates say. But, I mean, there can only be one woman who did that. A hoglet. Yeah, they call it a hoglet. I didn't know a baby hedgehog was called a hoglet.
A hoglet?
She found the hoglet on a pavement near her home and looked after it.
Right.
And she placed it in a box with a small dish of food.
Well, what do pom-poms eat? We've really got no idea.
No, she thought it was a baby hedgehog, but it was a pom-pom.
I get that, yeah.
Just from a hat.
Right, from a hat, yeah. OK, well, if you've got a head, get a hat. And you'd look fantastic in a pom-pom, Jan, and I really mean that, like a big one.
Well, so I hope no one mistakes me for a hedgehog.
No, yeah, or a pom-pom, yeah, and tries to affix you to their slipper. Thanks a lot, Jan. Cheers, my dear. 034, or Greek army types would fix them to their shoes. I mean, I was... OK, it's probably not the sort of thing that you should do, but I was guffawing with with laughter when I was in Greece. Because they parade up and down, I can't remember what building it was, and they do this weird... I mean, apart from anything else, they walk weird. Because, you know, some military types have weird walking as their thing. But nobody pulls off weird walking quite like the Greek. And I don't know what part of the army they were from, or whether they were in fancy dress, or what it was that they were doing. But pom-poms on their shoes was the least of it. Look it up on the World Wide Web, I double dare you.
This is LBC with Nick Abbott.
You're wondering what it's all about, and I can't tell you because I don't know myself.
But this text says, Farage becomes ambassador. That means Trump's won. That means Putin wins. That means 1 million Ukrainian migrants heading to Britain and increased military spending to support Baltic states. Disaster, says Richard, who writes like he's sending a telegram. In other words, you might want to panic now to save time later. They do seem, Trump and various other people in his orbit, do seem weirdly fond of Vladimir Putin, don't they? Weird. I mean, the Republican Party has now become an adjunct of Vladimir Putin's party. Very, very strange. From the party of Ronald Reagan, tear down this wall. And now it's they're just cozying up like 2 peas in a pod. Odd. Adam texts, speaking of failed political careers, brackets, Nigel Farage, did you hear this week that Lawrence Fox failed to make it onto the London mayoral ballot because he filled in the form incorrectly? So currently Count Binface has a more credible political career than Lawrence. You have to laugh, says Adam, who is going ahead and enjoying himself. Why not? Here's that story. The former actor Lawrence Fox will not be candidate at the London mayoral elections after failing to fill in the nomination forms correctly. London Elects, which administers the mayoral and London Assembly elections, says the Reclaim Party leader had submitted the papers shortly before the deadline on Wednesday, which were subsequently found to contain errors. Fox is understood to have failed to provide enough signatures of support in 2 London boroughs, while 3 supporters from other boroughs could not be found in records. Fox, who's been leader of the right-wing populist Reclaim Party since 2020, claimed on X, formerly known as Twitter, which is like the law, you have to say that now, which must really rub Elon Musk up the wrong way, mustn't it? Because nobody says X. They say on X, formerly known as Twitter. He claimed on X, formerly known as Twitter, in since-deleted posts that the actions were the results of political corruption. Oh, yeah, well, that's the establishment, probably. Yeah, well, they're they're frightened that he's going to win. Yeah, that's dark forces allied against you, that is. Bound to be. I read it on the internet. New Malden, Ahmed.
Nearly fallen asleep.
Yes, Ahmed. Hey, wake up.
Oh, thanks. Yes, has anyone mentioned Easter so far this evening?
Easter? I mentioned it myself in relation to the usual Easter getaway catastrophe.
Can I just say one thing? I'd just like to wish peace and on this occasion of Happy Easter, a very peaceful time.
Yeah, well, I don't think we're going to be having one of those.
No, but still, I think we have to strive for peace, regardless.
No, I think the human race has decided that peace is out.
Okay, yes. Well, yes, the reason I phoned, I think it's worth commenting on, is that, when you're told nothing could get worse for Conservative Party, and now the Conservative Party is selling knighthoods for £5 million.
I thought it was considerably less than that. I didn't think you had to...
Well, they said this guy's worth £5 million.
Oh, yeah. But, I mean, the two are completely unconnected, of course. They gave him his funny badge and a title for all the generous work that he does for charity.
Well, that's what they say. But, he's, the thing is, I like a peerage, and I just wonder if I...
How much?
I mean, the thing is...
Well, you have to think of it in this way, Ahmed. How much do you think you could monetize a peerage for? I mean, approximately how much do you think you could make in a year with Lord before your name? Because that's, I'm sure, the great benefit the great benefit of going to the House of Lords is you can append your title to any old dodgy company, like a bank, for instance, and they can pay you a six-figure sum for not showing up to work. Now, all you got to do is get 10 of those, and you're making £1 million a year for not doing anything.
Well, maybe just 2 hours a year or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I'm from Egypt. I'm from Commonwealth countries. Perhaps I can get some discount for that, and then maybe you can put in a good word for me.
Yeah, I'm afraid they don't do discounts. No, it's not a sale, Ahmed. Well, actually it is, but they're very keen not to be seen to be taking, to be offering a discount.
And also, the lady, one of the lady callers just mentioned this crypto scam.
Yeah, the cryptocurrency guy, Sam Bankman-Fried.
And he's getting 25 years only. Give me 25 billion, and I just do 25 years.
Well, yeah, but you wouldn't know, would you?
No, of course. But, what's going on in this world?
25...
Nothing seems to be...
Yeah, everything is upside down. Nothing seems to make sense anymore. And
where are those ethics, morals, and this lot running the country?
Mm-hmm.
Well, God help us.
I think that if God was going to help us, then he, she, or it would have done something about it by now. But I think, sadly, we're on our own. Yeah. All right. Thanks a lot, Ahmed. Cheer up, mate. It might never Oh, no, that's right. It already has. It's all our fault. Of course it is. I mean, the Tory party didn't come out of nowhere. We know what they're like. They've been this way forever. Who sold all of our family silver off? The Conservative Party, Margaret Thatcher, one of their heroes, sold our water off and told us that it was going to be in our interests. How on earth could selling off our most precious resource to foreign corporations to run as monopolies, how could that possibly ever go any other way than it has. And they did it. And our response was to vote them in again. Over and over and over again. It's our fault. I mean, we point our finger at Titchy Suit Size and you know who.
Absolutely.
And you know him.
Yeah. Wait a minute.
And all of the rest of them. But it's not their fault. We allow them to do what they do, knowing that is precisely what they were going to do before they did it. And we allowed them to do it anyway. It's our fault. About time we took some responsibility and punishment. Except there's just enough of us who would quite like that. Thank you, sir. May I have another? And another. 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Email nicka@lbc.co.uk. If you're on Twitter, it's @LBC. And if you're on WhatsApp, it's 0345 6060 973. Friday, Saturday, Sunday night at 10. Nick Abbott, LBC.
On your radio, on Global Player, and
Play LBC.
Leading Britain's conversation. This is LBC. This is LBC from Global, leading Britain's conversation with Nick Abbott.
Yeah! How may I help you?
How may I help you? I am here to help. The doctor is in. 0345 6060 973. I am not a doctor. I'm not a doctor, and you're not a doctor. And Donald Trump is not a doctor.
I'm not a doctor.
He's not a doctor. What does he know? He doesn't know anything.
I know nothing.
Oh, those are the shoes. There they are, right there. They're called the Tsarouchi. Tsarouchi. But you've only shown me the shoes. What does the rest of the kit look like? Because from memory, it's the most silly thing you've ever seen in your life. They look like cartoon characters. They got pom-poms on their shoes. This is the Greek presidential guard. And they parade up and down the place looking, well, just risible. And they got garters on their, the foot bones connected to the ankle bone. Oh, there they are. Yeah, they got garters just below their knees and a tassel behind their calves. They got, how would you describe that? Are they pantaloons or like petticoats? What would you describe that as?
Confused.
Yeah, they're slightly confused. as most of these macho men must be when they're first asked to put on this rig. Good grief. Yeah, so they got tassels hanging down from the belt on their waist. They got what look like petticoats in a... like tutus, really. Like it looks like they're wearing a deflated tutu. But it's the pom-poms on their shoes that is just laugh out loud funny. Why would you put pom-poms on your shoes? That's not going to instill fear in the mind of somebody who might want to have a go at the president. And they got a little, I assume that's a waistcoat, giant sleeves. It looks like they've taken the top off a wizard, and a bright red hat, and then they have to look like tough, which is the funniest bit of all, and carrying a gun as well. Yeah, not remotely frightening until they start shooting, of course. 0345 6060 973. And they don't like it when you make fun of them. Not at all. Because tourists are standing around like open mouthed. They've never seen anything like it in their lives. And they're taking pictures and giggling. And I can assure you that the Greeks do not find it funny. Highgate. Hello, Claire.
Oh, Nick. Hello.
Claire.
Claire, Nick. So, you were talking about George Galloway. And it occurred to me...
Claire, are you talking to us on speakerphone?
Oh, sorry, Nick.
Oh, no.
Sorry. mea culpa. Nick, you were talking about George Galloway.
Yes.
And the fact that he was supposed to be doing all these terrible things. Well, my belief is, at the time as well, that he went for MP because he wanted the salary. It's 86,584 quid.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, gosh, he's managed to get in just months before a general election. So he probably isn't going to queer his pitch in between now and then if he's already got in. So he's probably looking at 4 years at 86,584 quid while he can go off and do other things like, whatever else he does. And I thought, well, why doesn't Nick Abbot become an MP? I mean, you could get all that salary, Nick, still do your radio show.
Yes.
We'd all vote for you.
Of course. Well, that makes perfect sense, Claire. Finally, somebody speaking some sense on this show.
Absolutely. That's what I thought. Well, go for it.
Yeah, I'm sure that he did it for all the right reasons in his mind. I mean...
Would I doubt you?
Some people are just, they're serial political operatives. It doesn't really matter what party it is. They just want to be, they want people to vote for them.
Well, I think they want the money. I'm more cynical even than you are.
Right.
I mean, you're quite cynical.
That's
look at Nadine Dorris. I mean, the money she was earning raking in without doing a stroke of work. I mean, they're just tricksters and shysters, aren't they?
Yes,
a lot of them, I think.
In large number, that is correct. And you know whose fault that is?
Yes, Nick, our fault.
Ours.
Not mine, Nick.
No,
I've
mine.
never voted for them.
It's
our
fault. Yeah, not you or me, Claire. But we know who they are.
Exactly. So.
All right. Cheers, my dear. 0345 6060 973. Sue texts, Donald Trump will bless the Bibles. That's worth the money. I must have one, says Sue. I cannot believe that Donald Trump is selling Bibles. I mean, he just must be laughing his face off that these dinglings keep buying his stuff. How much more evidence do you people need? Because he's trying to sell his social media site, which has never made a dime in profits, and has got a piddlingly small number of people who have signed up for it, and isn't worth a bean. But they're telling us that it's worth billions and billions of dollars. If that's true, I'm a Knickerbocker Glory with cream on top. It just ain't. But if a lot of people buy it, then it suddenly becomes worth that. For a limited period only, just when they're doing the buying. And if they think that that they're just contributing to his campaign fund, then that's fair enough, because that is exactly what they're doing. But if they think that they're going to make a profit from Truth Social, here's the lesson that I cannot believe that you people haven't learned yet. Only one person makes a profit when you go into business with Donald Trump.
I'm a person that wants to tell the truth. I'm an honest person.
He lied. Joe texts. Not Joe texts. Joe texts. I bet you will never guess who won the Club Championship Trophy and the Senior Club Championship Trophy at the Trump International Golf Club Awards night. Yeah. Amazing. It didn't come with any money, but...
I make $400 million a year, so what difference does it make?
Yeah, what difference does it make? He's just in it for the glory. He hosted a tournament at his own golf club and gave himself the trophies. Says Joe. Yeah, amazing. Your husband cheats at everything, including golf, Melania.
I don't care.
She's actually not that bothered. Separate bedrooms in separate mansions. 0345 6060 973. Somerset, Sarah. Oh, what happened there? Did I put her in and then took her out again? Somerset, Sarah.
Hello, Nick.
There you are.
Yeah, I'm here. Yes, I was calling about the Greek costume.
Oh,
the
yeah.
traditional costume.
Isn't it great?
Well, I love it. I lived in Greece for a while, and I've seen them lots of times changing the guard outside the Parliament building.
Right.
Yes, well, this is what I was told. A couple of stories, actually. One was that when they used to wear this uniform as soldiers back in the day, in the 1800s, they were fighting the Turks who occupied Greece, and I was told that the pom-poms were to soften the sound of the front of the shoes because they're very hard, like clogs, and they when they were climbing up rocks to try and take the Turks by surprise, it was to soften. That's one story.
But do you believe that? Because the pom-poms are on top of the shoe. If they were underneath, then I could understand that.
Well, yeah, but I suppose if you're climbing up rocks, it might... I don't know. I was told that. But I do know they're called saruki, the shoes. They're hard-soled shoes. And apparently they used to hide a small blade in the pom-pom.
Like Rosa Klebb out of Russia with Love.
Oh, I can't remember. I've seen the film, but it was so long ago I can't remember anything about it.
Oh, you must remember. She had a blade in her shoe and she clicked her heels together, not like Wizard of Oz. different click entirely. And she clicked her heels together and this blade popped out with which she tried to stab James Bond. Can you believe that, Sarah?
Not really.
It's true. It's completely true. But they secreted a weapon in there. Well, that makes sense.
Well, yes. I heard that in the mountainous and rural areas, they wore these shoes, sarukia. So
to surprise the enemy. And I bet it was a surprise.
Yes, it could be.
Yeah.
And also the what you call the skirts. I think they're called. Something. I can't remember. Begins with an F. But in those kilts, or whatever you like to call them, they have meters and meters and meters of material.
Yes.
Which they pleat around, and it's an enormous amount. And apparently, they're very, very heavy once they've got all this material.
And they're very, very particular about it hanging just so, because I saw was somebody who appeared to be one of the superiors. He was going around and adjusting all of the other soldiers' skirts.
That's right. Yeah. Well, when they march, you see, when they do the changing of the guard and their legs go up, as you know, this strange
weird
march that they have. Yeah,
very
it is odd.
Yeah.
Especially when they raise the arm as well at the same time as the leg. It does look peculiar.
Bizarre.
But I love to watch it actually, because I think that they are picked specially for that particular job. You know,
as
they are
as a
soldiers.
punishment.
No, but the thing is, I've often said if I was a Greek mother of one of them, I would be really proud of them, because they are sort of handpicked for that particular job. Yeah.
Well, I guess, like all that fancy dress stuff that soldiery, it's all a bit silly, isn't it? I mean,
well, it's tradition. I mean, we've got our strange traditions as well.
Yeah,
when
we
you think
do.
about it.
Yeah.
I mean, look at our guards with their bare
hats.
skins.
Yeah, the hats are particularly silly. Yeah.
But I think every country's got their traditions, and I think it's great that they carry on with it.
Of course. And when you were in Greece, did you see this in the company of tourists who were laughing their faces off?
Some were, yes. In fact, one person that I actually took there started laughing, and I then chastised him slightly. Right. And I said, that these are handpicked.
These are very serious people, yeah.
Yeah, and they are actually guarding. I mean, they will attack if necessary. And because they're guarding the Parliament. It used to be a palace, but now it's the Houses of Parliament.
They'll kick you with their hard pom-poms.
Yeah, but yes, as I said, I don't know about the first bit that I told you about the climbing, but it sort of made sense.
I suppose so. Yeah. If you squint, then I guess it does. It makes it. Well, I tell you what, Sarah, it makes as much sense as anything else that I've heard this year.
That's absolutely true.
All right. Thanks a lot, Sarah. There you are. You see, information. This show is educational. Yes.
No. Leading Britain's conversation. Nick Abbott. Alexa, send a comment to LBC.
I really like you. Do you like me?
Yeah, sure. Why not? Lee texts, Donald Trump is selling Bibles to launder money from Russia and Saudi Arabia. Well, that's not the craziest thing I've heard so far this year. If that's the case, he's going to have to sell a lot of Bibles, or pretend to. Yeah. Why would you buy a Bible from Donald Trump? I mean, come on. Does he appear to be a religious person?
No.
Not really, no. Cornwall, Malcolm.
Oh, Nick, how are you, sir?
Yes, good, thanks.
A couple of three things. It's some points I want to draw together, Nick, to offer some clarity.
Finally, clarity. That is what we need, yes. Clear something up for me. Go ahead. Anything would be good at this point.
Right, this whole Prime Minister Sunak thing, it's doing my head in, my friend. And it all comes back to Boris Johnson, who was elected to do Brexit and level the country up, right?
Levelling up,
Sunak was on board for Brexit, but I don't think he was really up for the levelling up part. And I don't think, truly, that Johnson was. Now, this analogy is a little akin to turkeys and Christmas. And I don't see Boris Johnson or Rishi Sunak transferring too much wealth from the south to the north,
or
because
from the rich to the poor. No, why would they do that? It's not in their interests. They're not remotely interested in doing that.
Let's not really make it ugly by talking about rich and poor, but let's talk about north and south, right?
Right.
I do not see Boris Johnson or Rishi Sunak. Rishi Sunak has said it. Look, I'm taking money from the poor people to give to
poor urban areas, to give to you deserving rich folk.
Yeah, he told them that at a garden party. I mean, we all attend them regularly, don't we?
Oh, yeah.
But the thing is, Nick, there's no way that Boris Johnson or Rishi Sunak are going to transfer money from a pool, which is the pool they are going to be swimming in for the rest of their lives.
Yes.
In other words, Boris Johnson is going to be in the south, in the London area.
Correct.
What's his name? Sunak. He may be based in America, but he is going to be making an awful lot of money from the southeast of England, London, the city, and so on. So it was a fallacy, but the red wall swallowed it. Now,
amazing.
The thing is, like, this red wall stuff, it's an absolute fallacy, because the people in the red wall, a large proportion, O'Brien says it regularly, I don't know whether you do, but not everybody who voted for Brexit is a racist, but everybody who is a racist probably did vote for Brexit.
Voted for Brexit, yeah. Or they were persuaded by the detailed economic arguments that Nigel Farage put forward.
Right. Now, let me bring you back to the two main protagonists here, Boris Johnson and Rishi Sunak, right? They swore they were going to stop immigration, stop the boats, stop immigration. They haven't. So the red wall issues, I think, were Brexit to stop foreigners. I think that was fairly explicit in that vote.
Yeah, to stop foreigners arriving here nowhere near where they live. That's the thing that blows my mind.
And I've got sympathy, Nick.
The more people voted Brexit, the less they were in their areas surrounded by people who come from somewhere else. It's the fear of something they haven't experienced yet.
Yeah, but Nick, look, I've got a lot of sympathy with that viewpoint, but to a limit. And my limit is this. There's no way that a person who wants to come to Britain, who hasn't got the authority of the government, the British government, or a legitimate asylum claim, I don't think we should allow people into the country in any of those two categories. So no asylum claim, and they don't have a job to come to that a British person cannot do. And I had this argument a few weeks back.
Well, no, wait a minute. A British person...
Yeah.
Wait a minute. A British person cannot do or doesn't want to do, because that's different.
Yes. Yeah, well, all right. Well, I'll agree to some extent with that, but they don't want to... I mean, I would say there are some people on benefit who don't want to go to work. And you have to accept that. But they are going to be unbelievably small in number, Nick. There might be a few, right? Let's concede that argument to the Tories, okay? But my point is this, Nick, that there's no way that we should be allowing people to come to this country who haven't got a job or a reasonable asylum claim, because I know for a fact I couldn't go to any other country in the world, such as those, the 27 in the EU, America and Canada. I couldn't go there unless the people in that country wanted me to go there.
Right.
There's no way that I can walk over the border into America.
Unless you were fleeing persecution, but you've covered that already.
Or I had a job offer, right? But I feel almost certain that with Trump and Biden now, that they are all about jobs for their own people, and rightly so. So for me, immigration should be all about the people we needed to come here, whose jobs we can't find anybody who lives in these islands at the moment.
Yes, wait a minute. But as a method of reducing the number of people who come here, that's not going to work. If that's the plan, that doesn't work, because as we know, all the people that left, they were doing jobs that we either didn't want to do or couldn't do. And now those jobs aren't getting done anymore, to the detriment of the nation. So we need all those people to come back, because we ain't doing those jobs.
That's right. And Nick, I was a Remainer. I think that's fairly well known now, if anybody's listened to me phoning in and speaking to you before. But the point is, that boat has sailed. But the point is, Nick, that Richie Sunak does not want to stop the 750,000 legal migrants into Britain in Russia. He does not want to stop them.
Of course.
And I'd add to that the biggest proportion were from India. The second biggest proportion, I think, was from maybe China, and the third was from Nigeria.
Right.
And I've looked at the numbers. Now, if Sunak is arguing we need those people, there's a good chance we need those people. But we used to get them from the EU because we had open borders, because we were part of the European community. Now we're bringing them in from India, from more probably from China, more from Nigeria, and more from every single other country in the world. So it's the red wall people. If I go back to my original point, Nick, the red wall people, they're not getting what they voted for from Sunak.
No, they've been had. It's just difficult for them to admit that, because it's too much loss of face. So what they're going to do instead is double down and vote for the same people that conned them the first time.
Exactly. So this is why, Nick, they are leaving the Tories, some of them, the Tories, because they voted for Brexit and to stop immigration. They're now seeing that Brexit is a disaster, always was going to be. Plus, we've still got huge immigration, legal, and on top of that, a few boat people.
Yeah.
But the point is that they're moving to reform for the reason you've just said. They have been suckered again, over again, Nick, and they just do not get it.
No.
And Boris Johnson, he was never going to provide levelling up, Nick. He was never going to stop immigration, because he knows that for his lifestyle, neither of those things are compatible.
Exactly, yeah. I'll sum it up for you.
I love the poorly educated.
And that's it's sad but true. It's
I'm sure I can just say
yeah, it's an example of how bad our education system is, that people can be had over and over and over again and not realise it.
Well, no, Nick, you're confusing education. I was a school teacher. It isn't education.
I think it is.
No, it's understanding of politics, Nick. I don't think it is education. It's an understanding.
No, I think you're making it sound too complicated. It's not. You were promised something. Did it happen? Yes or no? And the answer is no. So what are you going to do about it? Oh, I'm going to vote for the same people again.
Yeah, well, right. But that's ignorance, I think, Rick and Nick,
right,
rather than a lack of education.
Okay, well, all right. Well,
I think they
we're
know,
nitpicking now.
Those people know, Nick, I think, but they just can't stop themselves because of your other point, which is loss of faith.
Loss of faith, yeah. And, by the way, more cruelly, a loss of hope. Because they were given hope that their lives would get better. And they certainly do deserve that. I mean, you just have to leave the southeast, leave the M25 and go into small towns in the north. And it's, in many cases, it's like walking into a third world country. I mean, these people are poor, like you wouldn't understand if you lived in Knightsbridge or Belgravia or in not Eton. Well, I guess Eton as a place as well as a school. You know, places in Surrey like that where, people like this.
My view.
Where they come from. And this guy.
Yeah. Wait.
Yeah, all of these people. And, so it's just cruel that they've taken away their hope because they said, vote for me and I will make your life better. And they did, and they didn't. In that order. Thanks a lot, Malcolm.
Nick Abbott on LBC. Call 0345 6060 973.
Hello.
0345 6060 973. Tim texts, Farage will not stand as an MP as he'd have to live up north with the Bernard Mannings and the Roy Chubby Browns of the working men's clubs, with views to the right of Enoch Powell, smoking roll-ups with cloth caps and whippets in a high street of boarded-up shops and bookmakers and pawnbrokers and 50p lands. or he could sit in his mansion's garden drinking Dom Perignon in Kent. A difficult decision, says Tim. Yes, exactly. I think that flat hat and tweeds and the prop pint is an act. I don't think that's who he is at all. In which location did he celebrate winning the Brexit vote? Was it the local pub with salt of the earth types? No, it was the Savoy. Drinking champagne. Do you have any idea how much champagne costs at the Savoy? 0345 6060 973. Holloway. Hello, John.
Hi, hello. Yeah, I'm ringing up about water bills. Now, I'm in Thames Water, and I've got my bill from the 1st of April to the end of March next year, and it's £545.
What? £545?
Yeah, from the 1st of April, this couple of days, to the end of March next year. And
have you got a pool?
Hey, no, I'm a low user. Right?
Okay.
Yeah. And the thing is, I think that's quite normal. I mean, they've got the what I use, and also they've got a fixed charge on each on fresh water and wastewater.
They all
but now, the thing is, I don't think I'm going to pay it because I will just state Fergal Sharkey. You know, Fergal Sharkey is saying that they owe us money.
Right.
Now, what do I do if I don't pay it? What's going to happen?
You'd have to sing My Perfect Cousin.
He came from North London.
Forever?
You know? I think he comes from Alexandra Palace, Fergal Sharkey. But
does he?
Yeah, I think he comes from that sort of area. Yeah, but I'm just wondering. I'm not going to pay it. I don't think I am. I can afford to not pay it because I haven't really got dependents, right?
Yeah, but what if they put you in prison?
Well, they won't, will they? Well, I'm going to have bailiffs coming here saying you owe the money. And I'll say, what, for water? And what if I state the case that they've ripped us off for the last God knows how many years?
Yeah, I think that you are going to jail. You are going straight to jail. You will not pass go, and you will not collect £200.
I won't go to jail. I don't know going to put me in jail.
Mate, they put people in jail for not paying the TV licence fee.
I know, but I've got a case, don't you think? We've all got a case.
Well, here's the thing.
£545 from Monday.
That seems ridiculous. And, somebody asked me the other day, well, with all this pollution and stuff that seems to be out of control, it appears as though the water companies who have awarded themselves £57 billion in dividends for excellence in being them, they don't have any control over their own business anymore. It's just pouring sewage out all over the place, which is the very definition of not having any control. And yet we assume that the water coming out of our taps is drinkable. Based on what? Do you?
I filter mine, just a filter bottle. Oh, yeah. But even people I know said, well, it doesn't really get the harmful stuff out, it just gets the hard water out. But you've been watching the news over the last week. I haven't really studied my water bill that much until today, actually, to see the details. And I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to pay it. Well, if I can't pay it, I'll just say I can't pay it. I'm not going to. I'll state Fergal Sharkey and whoever, or the other campaigners. I mean, it was on quite a lot of the news outlets over the week.
But thank goodness for Fergal Sharkey, by the way. I mean, I know that there's other people from the Green Party and so on, and farmers and that are kicking up a fuss about this. Yeah. But if it wasn't for him, and if it equally wasn't for ITV doing that drama about the post office, then nothing would be done about any of these things. And in 10 years' time, if we kept voting for the Conservative Party, it would still be like this. And they'd be throwing their hands up and go, oh, well, it's nothing to do with us. What can we possibly do?
I'm at a loss. So I'm going to see how I feel next week when April started, and see how it goes for a month, and 2 months. See how I'll probably get letters saying, you owe this.
If the water coming out of your tap has got chunks in it, don't drink it. All right.
Okay.
Thanks a lot, John. Obviously, it's not our position that you should not pay your water bill. Everybody should pay all of their bills as they arrive on their doorstep immediately, if not sooner. 0345 6060 973. Kerry text, there was one thing we got when Donald Trump was president. We got to see a giant inflatable Trump in a nappy flying gloriously over the UK. If I remember correctly, he had a mini tantrum over it. That's right. He refused to show up.
I can be more presidential than anybody.
He didn't come. Yeah. He didn't come because somebody had the nerve to put him in a nappy and make a balloon out of it. He's got a phone in his hand and he's shouting, and he's got his stupid hair and like a big baby. And I think first time he refused to come because of that, and the second time when he couldn't get out of it, he refused to leave his mansion or wherever he was. I can't remember. I don't recall. What do I know? All I know is what's on the internet.
What do I know about it? All I know is what's on the internet.
0345 6060 973. Dave texts, the problem is that it's easy to fool the public with lies, but almost impossible to convince them that they have been fooled. That is very true. Yes, a person with an ology will tell you that that is correct. We set down sort of templates in our minds about what is and is not true, and it is almost impossible for us to change our minds once we have decided that what is up is up instead of down. Did that make sense? A little bit. 0345 6060 973. Aberdeen, Daniel.
Hello, Nick.
Daniel.
I was in Edinburgh a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, yeah.
What a beautiful city.
Isn't it just?
Oh, absolutely amazing. I had a bit of good fortune. I won £270.
Wow.
So...
On what?
I decided to... machines.
Oh.
I decided to buy a first-class ticket to Edinburgh. So I travelled by train.
Uh-huh.
And
how long is the trip?
I think it's about 2.5 hours.
Right.
So I got there in style, and then I...
What's first class life, though? What first class like on a train? I mean, is it worth it?
Well, it's about an extra £20 or so.
Is that all?
And
I thought it was way more than that. I thought it was like double.
Well, you've got to buy from the right place.
Well, I guess so, yeah. What, did you buy it from a bloke in a pub? Psst. Want to buy a ticket?
No, I bought it on the app.
Oh, apps. Oh, well, I can only dream of having an app.
Yeah.
Well, what did you get? Did you get a meal? Did you get a free coffee, a nice, comfortable seat? Or were you surrounded by oiks with their feet on the seats, playing loud music on their phones?
No, there wasn't really oiks. There was a few people who were annoyed because they couldn't get alcohol. Because there wasn't full service for the complete route.
Yeah.
And there's restrictions in Scotland on trains, which means some trains can't serve alcohol.
Well, that would be annoying. I mean, particularly if it was supposed to be free. Was it free or did you have to pay?
Oh, no, it's free.
Free booze, and they didn't have any. I'd be livid.
You can go in the lounge before you get on the train, and everything's free in there.
Is it?
Everything's free on the train.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, that's first class. You're paying a premium to get free stuff.
Well, I didn't think that you got any free stuff anymore. I mean, I haven't travelled first class like ever, but you see sometimes a first class carriage, and it's exactly the same as the ordinary carriage. It's just got the words first class written on the window.
Yeah, it's quite similar. The carriage itself is nothing special, really.
Right. But do you get a bigger seat?
I don't think there's much difference, really.
Do you get a window? If you order a window seat, do you actually get to sit by a window? Because I've seen.
Yes.
I've been on a train lately, and somebody had a window seat, and it was a seat by one of these panels, so they literally could not see out of the window at all. It was just a wall. I mean, they were on the window side, but there was no view. That must be
that's just poor design.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it is good service. I mean, I got a bacon roll, drinks, and there seemed no limit.
A bacon roll? And was it fatty or crispy?
It wasn't cooked the way I'd cook it. I mean, I used to be a chef, so I kind of know how to cook things.
Quite picky, yeah. So I would guess that they just heated it up. They didn't actually cook it on the train. I mean, you used to be able to get an entire meal.
Yeah.
Breakfast.
It's not quite as good as it used to be.
Right.
Apparently.
Well, what is, Daniel?
Nothing.
Apart from Edinburgh, perhaps.
Oh, what a stunning city.
It is.
I booked into a great hotel on St Andrew's Square. Which, as you'll know, is quite a prestigious part.
Is it? Where's St Andrew's Square?
It's just you go out of Waverley Station and up towards Princess Street.
Yeah.
And you just go up a bit, and you.
Well, there's the big hotel there, the big fancy schmancy hotel for people that arrive on first class carriages. Is that the one you mean?
Well, I mean, I just booked the hotel direct.
Okay.
Via their website, because it's quite often cheaper than paying a middleman.
Yeah, no doubt. I grew up in Edinburgh, and I did not recognise at the time that I was living in a beautiful place. I used to go to Hill End and ski, and the view from the top of Hill End is absolutely astonishing. You can see from the Firth of Forth all the way over the whole of Edinburgh. And I didn't even see it when I was a kid, because you just don't, do you? Views aren't really on your radar.
I think when you're a child, your mind is free and you see things differently.
Well, you're too busy trying to take in all of this massive amount of information that comes your way on a daily basis to bother, looking up and checking out the view. Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
I was stunned by Edinburgh. Aberdeen is okay. It's a fairly decent city.
Yeah,
but, I mean,
it's all right.
Edinburgh
Let's not get carried
level.
away. Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's right. If there's a more beautiful city in the country, I don't know of it. Shame it's so blooming cold.
Yeah, well, I'm gradually working my way south, Nick. I started off in the Orkney Islands. That's where I'm from.
Yeah.
So I'm in Aberdeen. So I'm planning to move this year.
Well, how far south are you considering going? Nice.
Well, there's no limit, really, is there?
No, you could, in fact, go all the way around the world and end up back where you started.
Precisely.
Yeah. OK, well, happy landings, Daniel, and I wish you all the best. Thanks for that. 0345 6060 973. And a message came in from next door about first-class travel from a person who said he takes first-class trains a lot. Is that you?
Yes.
Why do you take first-class trains?
Because if you book on one of the major booking apps, if you do it close to the time in which you would wish to depart, they're often actually cheaper than standard class.
Right, but what if no tickets are available because you've waited too long?
Well, that's never happened to me in, probably 8 years of travelling.
Right. And so is it worth it? Going first?
Free gin and a cheaper train ticket sometimes. Yeah.
You had me at free gin.
Booze. This is LBC with Nick Abbott. Call 0345 6060 973. Tweet at LBC. Text 84850.
Come on, we're running late.
We are running late. Brighton. Hello, John.
Hello there, Nick. Yeah, just on a few previous callers, the guy before the break talking about immigration and the guy talking about the water. You just think it's just a never-ending mess.
Yes,
it doesn't end.
No,
no. I was phoning back this honours list.
Oh,
I was just thinking, why has Rishi suddenly announced this now? What is it? What could be the reason? It's just a bit strange, isn't it?
I think they're just trying to pack them all in. They're trying to extract as much as they possibly can from the wreck of this country before they don't have their hands on it anymore.
Do you think that they could be thinking of announcing something soon, an election or something, done in the next few months? It just seems a bit odd suddenly to do it now rather than if they're going to wait till the end of the year. Yeah, I guess that's the answer, that they're just packing them in.
The reason that they did it now, in this particular moment, is because it's Easter, and by the time everybody gets back to work, journalists and that, we'll have forgotten all about it, and we'll be on to the next outrage.
Yeah. No, it just seems strange. I thought that there must be some ulterior motive about it. I guess that's it. Just pack them in and hide it behind Easter then.
But I find it hard to believe that this will be the last of them. I mean, they're going to be chucking funny names and badges around like drunken sailors.
But I think, they do have a resignation list or an end of Parliament, government list, don't they?
Go on forever, yeah.
I'm sure they'll announce a load of them there as well.
They're going to have to build another wing on the House of Lords just to fit them all in. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, when do you think they could announce an election then? When do you think they're going to go for it then?
Well, the thing that I keep saying and that people poo-poo is that I would not be surprised at this point if they cancelled the next election for our safety. Yeah, you laugh now. All right, thanks a lot, John. 0345 6060 973. A little bit of a nervous laughter there, I thought. He was thinking, no, that'll never happen. Not in this country. I mean, in this country, they've got a plan.
We have a plan, and plan, or you just go back to square one.
Let's go back to square one. Can we do that straight away? Thanks. Solihull. Hello, Callum.
Hi, Uni. Great show as always.
Thanks.
The reason I phoned up, I heard one of your previous callers. It sounded like a lovely guy, the Welsh one. And she was talking about there were certain jobs that British people were refusing to do. Like you said, was it because they were refusing or was it because they can't do those jobs? I've never been a Brexit supporter. At the time, I thought it was just a bit of a, if anything, a silly decision, just to put all your chips on something that may or may not be beneficial, where the evidence was actually showing that it's actually not going to be beneficial. But after it had happened, I was just holding on to the slight hope that there may be a slight benefit in the sense of it will actually cause a squeeze in the labour market, which would actually force wages to go up. For example, if you work in a coffee shop or something, maybe because there was a small pool of labour, market forces would actually increase wages.
It did to a certain extent, but the problem with that is, though, that it then, of course, increases prices.
Yeah. Well, you say it has to a certain extent. I personally, I haven't seen it. Still, the fact that the minimum wage is still not enough to live off.
Right.
All that we've seen really is just the economy has shrunk. We are now in official recession. That
doesn't make any difference whatsoever. Even if we weren't in a recession is what is being felt by most of the people in this country. There's a tiny number of people who are doing fantastically well.
My view,
people like that. And the rest of us are just desperately trying to keep our heads above the water. And you know what's in the water, don't you?
Disgusting.
Oh.
But isn't this one of the reasons why we should not have been given the option to vote on something like this? It's so complex.
Correct.
I consider myself a fairly intelligent person, and the logical way that I was thinking was that if there is a squeeze on labour, then the companies will be forced to start paying better to try and entice people to come in. But we're not really seeing that. All we're seeing is that the economy is shrinking, and we're all poorer for it, regardless of whether you get an extra 20p per hour. We're still very much poorer.
Still poor, yeah. And you hit the nail right in the head. You said the living wage is not enough to live on. I mean, let's just pause and just savour that moment for a while. The living wage is not enough to live on. Correct.
And the living wage is actually higher than the minimum wage. So the living wage is what the government suggests should be paid. But then you have the minimum wage, which, again... You haven't got a hope in hell unless you're for example, if you are in a relationship with somebody, then you may have two incomes coming in. But especially if, for example, you're a single male, you have to pay the full rent, which will take about over half of whatever wage that you're going to be getting, regardless of whether you work 40 hours or 60 hours per month.
Yeah.
This is the reason that I believe that we should not have been given this choice, because it's far too complex for ordinary people to actually see.
Yes,
100%.
100% correct. Don't ask the people what they think, because the danger is they may tell you. Yes, correct, Amundo. Way too complicated an issue for us small-minded dopes to try and figure out. Thanks, Callum. 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 Out.